All right, so finally got this cylinder back for right here. So this, I don't know if you can see it too well, but this area, this weld had cracks in it, and when we tried to fix it, it looked like it was too deep. So I brought this to Marcy Hydraulics in Utica, and they determined that the weld or the crack was also on the inside of the tube, and so the best thing to do was to get a new tube. So that's what happened. I got a new tube, put all this back together, repacked my cylinder seals, and we're gonna get it put on. So it wasn't too terribly expensive. It was actually kind of in line with what I thought. So about $1,200. So we'll get this connected onto that and fire her up. She hasn't been running for a few weeks, so.
So young, loaded gun, oblivious to what the trigger does. Will you wake up? Never gonna make up. Got ammunition on a mission, gonna shoot you down. And it's so young. That's so young. Knockout with the Midas touch. A champion wearing golden gloves. Got you punch drunk, seeing stars. Little birdie singing.
It took me a minute to get this together. I'm not very mechanical, so I used these older backhoes a long time ago, and my boss, who was one of those MacGyver types, having grown up during a time where resources were thin, you learned everything. And he taught me that, but it wasn't necessarily my main function at the nursery, so I kind of had to dip back into what I remembered. But so some of you might laugh at me, but cut me some slack. So this has been put back together. You know, it's an old machine, so this shit's going on, and you know, whatever, we'll replace it. I did have like this padding right here. It was on this side. So we'll see how this does. I don't have it anymore. Just keep an eye on it, but I think it'll be fine for now. So I'm gonna test it out, make sure everything's legit, and next thing we'll have to do is we need to check the tires, because before this cylinder was taken off, this back tire was completely flat. It's been sitting up off the ground via the stabilizers for the whole time, so we'll see how that looks. So that's the next thing we're gonna check, but it's all good. It's kind of cool that they painted the cylinder. I totally expected it to be not that color, and I bought it's called this color orange is called Power Tan. The updated color is Power Yellow, I believe. So I bought a spray can of Power Tan to paint the cylinder, but they did it for me, so that's cool. All right, checking the tire. Started. I wasn't 100% sure it would start, so that's a good sign. It's got a good battery. It hasn't sat this long for me without being ran, so nothing's squirting out yet. Back up, bud. good? Alright. Well, yeah, pick this up. No leaking. So that's good. There's a lot coming out of the extend-a-hose cylinder, so that's gonna have to be a project for later. Unfortunately, that's expected. What I'll probably end up doing is just ordering a whole new cylinder and then have Monroe Tractor come back out and pull this apart again and put in a new cylinder. But this isn't leaking. That's what I'm happy about. So I don't know if you can hear me, the tires are low, the rear tire's low, completely flat. So pumping that back up, I'll check the front, and hopefully the leaks are slow. I haven't had a chance to really monitor them and test it out, but hopefully they're slow and I can just fill them up as need be and just keep working. So I gotta do this driveway, obviously. I'm gonna extend the gravel out through here, I think. And what I plan on doing is, we're gonna open this up real quick. All of this is gonna be kind of an area where we're gonna stage materials. And so soils, different soil, ideally at some point, well, not ideally, and at some point, I will be screening soil to make a nice soil to use on the farm and to potentially sell. And then we'll just get chips and other green waste and bring it back here, and we can mulch things up and make our own compost. But I'm gonna open this up, so I'll explain in another video what I have planned, but this is kind of the start of it, and we'll have this accessible to trucks and anyone that wants to back in and drop off material. For now, we'll eventually move it, because I'm sure if this is a hit with our neighbors and the community, we'll need more room. But for now, I'm gonna put it all right here. So All right. I didn't realize the phone had stopped working because it was too hot. I love this technology that we spend way too much money on that makes the top 1% super hella rich. And it's 2022 and this shit can't even deal with heat. Anyway, that's my rant. It's hot in here. So I just wanted to open that area up so it's more visible for anyone that's going to come and drop stuff off. I don't know how popular this will be. It may take a while to catch on. That's fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm not trying to push super hard for anything. I just want to get stuff set up. And so the goal is unlike Washington State, there's a lot of landscape supply yards all over the place, and they all have their variety of gravel and soil and compost and bark mulch and topsoil and stuff, and everyone kind of has their own little special blends of topsoil that they make. And while that does exist here to a degree, it's not super common in this area. I'm making educated guesses or slash opinions, but one, everything's really spread out here, so the cost of trucking is a lot to get materials to the customer. Two, because of how spread out everything is, and most people have property that's measured in acreage and not square feet, there's really not a huge demand for things like mulch and topsoil and everything else, because it's just too expensive to continuously reapply that stuff to your gardens. Most people, if they have gardens, they're very large, and so they do whatever they do with them, and they usually don't mulch them. If they do, there's little patches or whatever, and it seems like people are content to going to Lowe's or Ace or something and getting bags of whatever they need. The other point is that because of how much acreage everyone has, there isn't this need to when you're doing projects to get rid of the green waste. So if you're doing a land clearing project to expand on your property, or new house construction, or just in general yard maintenance, and people throwing away grass clippings and weeds and deadheading their flowers or whatever, we don't have green waste recycling bins here like you would in more populated areas. It exists in other parts of New York, just not out here. And like Washington State, where Waste Management or whoever, took that stuff in and dumped it wherever, whether it was with a composting facility or whatever, it just doesn't exist out here. The need isn't super strong. However, there is still some need for it. You still do get people that are very much into their gardens. They want options. They want to be able to get a truckload of mulch to put in their gardens, or if they're doing some kind of project, they want topsoil, and good topsoil, all that stuff. And then compost as well. There's, if you can have access to the compost, I think a lot of people would prefer to have it delivered and or go pick it up themselves, because you have a lot of people that grow their own food. They have their own flower patches for themselves, or the flowers go into their stands. Everyone does this around here. Everyone has stands everywhere that they sell off excess food or flowers or whatever. They do it for fun. They do it because it's just a little extra money. If they do it well enough, they make some kind of profit, whatever. But you're gonna, sorry, my hair looks silly. You're gonna have some demand and some need for compost. And then of course there's the villages, townships, whatever they're called, whatever you live in out here, where people do measure their yards in square feet, and so they do want that product. And I think that you could justify marketing to those people and saying, hey, instead of getting all these bags, like, just dump 6 yards of whatever in your driveway, and you can spread it that way, have someone else come out and do it or whatever. So that being said, long story short, I'm kind of reassessing or opening up this file again that I filed away back in my head. I wanted to do this in Washington, but on a much grander scale. There is a huge demand for all of that material. There's also a huge demand to recycle, compost, green waste via construction projects and everything else. You don't get the luxury of burning a massive pile of brush in your yard, because most people live in housing development neighborhoods. Their yards are measured in square feet, not acreage. So, and then because of how dry it gets in Washington during the summer, burn bans go into effect, blah 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 blah. So there's a demand for all that stuff to go somewhere, get ground up, put in windrows, make compost, and then sell it to the public. So I want to do that here. I want it to be an option for people. Again, I'm not trying to make this into some massive enterprise. If it goes that direction, cool, but I'm not worried about it. I don't think it will go that direction, but I want people to have a place to go to pick up a yard or two of compost, of good compost, for their gardens, for their, I don't know, 100 by 100 patch of vegetables or whatever. It's not difficult to make compost yourself, but there is kind of some work that needs to be done. And if I do it, in the professionals or the commercial side of composting does it, it's usually done quicker, because there's certain procedures that we do to make things happen faster than other people that do cold static compost piles, all that stuff. So my goal is to try to encourage people to bring their green waste out here. Anybody that's doing dirt work and is doing clearings, or the tree companies out here that want to get rid of their chips, bring them to me, and I'll do what I do with them, and hopefully in return I can have a nice quality product for people to use. And that way also you don't have to spend so much money to have it trucked from so far away. It's just another option. I'm not necessarily like trying to compete with other bigger companies out here like Seward Sand and Gravel or anything else like that. I just want to be another option. If anything, I get to use it for my operation, and then I'm happy. But I'd like to be able to provide another service and another opportunity for a product to make it into their garden or for their construction project. So the next agenda item on the agenda is offering excavation land clearing services. I'll get into that a little bit later.